Pregame.com.
Welcome to Pregame.tv. I'm Brady Kannon alongside Vegas runner Steve Fezzik. Can't be with us this evening, and we do miss him and we wish him well. He is suffering from a little laryngitis, and some of you may not be able to believe that. He does like his forum here to talk movie quotes with everybody.
That's why he's been texting me nonstop now instead of calling.
He's going to ruin his thumbs here pretty soon. He'll be silent completely. Well, welcome back. We're going to talk some college football now, and it's Vegas runner's turn. The game he's looking at is Pittsburgh, the Panthers at the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech.
Yeah, this line's double digits. It's 10. I think it's going to go up. Money's going to come in on Georgia Tech. I think Pittsburgh's a little bit undervalued, and here's why. It's a team that's 0-3 ATS their last 3 games, and they lost last week as 4-point road favorites against Navy. But if you really watch that game, Pittsburgh was ahead pretty much the entire game and let it get away from them late. Now they're going up against a Georgia Tech team, and the first thing you think about when you think Georgia Tech is that crazy offense.
Sure.
You know, that offense you need to prepare for. And Pittsburgh actually has been preparing for this offense for 2 weeks. Navy runs the exact same offense.
That's what I was thinking. You've got the
exact same offense. Yeah. We've seen in the past, whenever teams have ample time to prepare for Georgia Tech or Navy, they have success. That's why those two teams don't do well in bowl games.
Right.
When you don't see that offense all season and you have 4 or 5 days to prepare for it, it's extremely difficult. Guys don't know how to hold their position. You know, you always see them like they're just chasing that ball the wrong way. They're overcommitting.
Right.
And I think Pittsburgh having 2 weeks to prepare for this offense is really going to surprise Georgia Tech.
It's almost like Navy's the perfect warm-up.
Exactly. Georgia Tech, granted, has better athletes than Navy, so it's going to be kind of like Navy on steroids. But I think
they've seen the model, though.
Exactly, and it's not going to be anything they haven't prepared for. And I think the line, my line, I made it about 8, 8.5. And I think that the 10 points will probably go to 10.5, maybe even 11. Once the public gets involved, they're going to bet this Georgia Tech team. They're going to tease this Georgia Tech team. And I think they're a little bit overvalued. I also like that Pittsburgh's extremely balanced. It makes a team like this difficult to prepare for. If the running game's not doing well, they could pass the ball. If you're not passing well, you could run the ball. You got a senior quarterback. They throw for 222 yards per game. You got a junior running back with a 5-yard per carry average, and they rush for 140 yards per game. That's as balanced as you're going to get. I think that's too many points.
Now, Georgia Tech has typically been pretty one-dimensional.
Yeah.
But this year they're throwing the ball
a little bit more.
Decent.
A little bit more. Yeah.
What do you expect here? Do you think what are they going to do against the Pittsburgh defense? Do you think they're going to stick with that bread and butter run, or are they going to throw it around a little bit?
I think they will. I think it's one of those things where you got to use your strength.
Yeah.
And if it's not working, then you go to plan B, kind of like a fight.
Right.
You know, you go in with a game plan. If it doesn't work, usually in training camp, most boxers I know, most MMA fighters I know, their trainers have a plan B, a plan C.
Right.
But you're hoping plan A works, and you never have to resort to plan B. So I think you're going to see Georgia Tech come and run at Pittsburgh, and if they don't have success, I don't think they're going to have success passing the ball either.
Well, let's make it official, my friend.
Pittsburgh at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's a double-digit favorite here, and I think that's a little bit of an overreaction based on the fact Pittsburgh's coming in with 3 straight ATS losses and lost as a road favorite last week against Navy. But when you look at this Georgia Tech team, the first thing you think of is this offense is difficult to prepare for. And Pittsburgh, never having seen it, looks like they'll be in trouble, but it won't be the case come Saturday. Pittsburgh's been preparing for this game 2 weeks. They went up against Navy, who runs the exact same offense, maybe not with the same athletes, but the same offense. So look for Pittsburgh to stay in the game late, at least get the backdoor cover, getting 10-10 plus, maybe even be in a position to sprinkle a little something on that money line. I like the Panthers come Saturday. Take the points with Pittsburgh. I think they get the ATS win finally, break that 0-3 streak.
Well, I like it, VR. I happen to agree with you. I think this sets up well for the Pitt Panthers, and I think the strongest angle you present is the amount of preparation they have for the Georgia Tech offense.
Yeah, I agree. Like I always say, when I look to handicap Navy games, Georgia Tech games, I like to see if the opponents played against this offense before, if the coach has prepared against this offense before, and how long the team has had to get ready for this offense before. A lot of times, it's a couple days. In the case of Pittsburgh, who has never played Georgia Tech, that would have been the case had they not had Navy on their schedule prior to this week. So this is a game that I actually had kind of circled 2 weeks ago, thinking I was hoping they don't do well against Navy.
Perfect.
And I catch those extra points here. So now that it's set up that way, I got to grab them.
I like it, man. Looking good. All right, well, we're going to continue on the college football line, and we're going to go right to the top. The marquee matchup of the evening ought to be a fun one. The heavyweights. College game day will be there. The Miami Hurricanes visiting the Florida State Seminoles, number 7 and number 3 in the country now. We'll be back to talk about that one in a moment on pregame.tv.